Welcome to Wealth Chapters, the channel where we break down the most powerful books on wealth, investing, and personal growth, one chapter at a time. This is pretty much the holy grail of investing, isn't it? Getting all that excitement, all that potential growth from the stock market, but with a nice, cozy safety net like a bond to catch you if things go sideways. It honestly sounds a little too good to be true. Well, in chapter 16 of his absolute masterpiece, The Intelligent Investor, the legend himself, Benjamin Graham, dives right into this very dream. He introduces us to a whole special class of investments that seem to promise exactly that. They're called convertible securities. Now, Graham breaks them down into two main types. You've got your convertible securities, and you've got things called warrants. People often call them hybrids, and that's a perfect name for them, because they don't really fit cleanly into the stock box or the bond box. They're kind of something in between. Okay, so let's get into it. A convertible is kind of like a bond that has a secret superpower. You can actually trade it in for a certain number of shares of stock if the company really takes off. A warrant, on the other hand, that's more like a long-term coupon. It gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy stock at a price you locked in ages ago. So they both offer this backdoor into owning stock, but they work in totally different ways. And this hybrid nature is really the key to the whole thing. Just think about a convertible bond for a second. It pays you interest, just like a regular bond does, right? So you get some income, some stability. But, and this is the magic part, if the company's stock suddenly soars, you have the option to convert that bond into stock and ride that wave all the way up. It's an investment that can literally change its identity. And that, right there, is where you find both its biggest appeal and its biggest danger. I mean, you can see the attraction, right? It feels like one of those heads I win, tails I don't lose that much deals. So let's really look at why investors find this whole idea, this promise of upside with a built-in safety net, so incredibly hard to resist. So here's the sales pitch, basically. You get the stability and the income from a bond, which acts like a floor, to protect you from a total disaster. But at the exact same time, you're holding a key that could unlock the explosive growth potential of the company's stock. It's pitched as the ultimate win-win scenario. But we are talking about Benjamin Graham here. This is the father of value investing. And he never lets us get away with just looking at the shiny upside. He always forces us to turn over the rock and see what's really crawling around underneath. Because as Graham warns us, that beautiful promise of the best of both worlds, well, it comes with a hidden price tag. And that price is a whole lot of complexity and some really serious risk. Graham points out three huge red flags. First, these are not simple investments. The terms can be incredibly confusing. Second, how do you even figure out what they're truly worth? Trying to value something that's part bond, part option is an absolute nightmare, and it makes it super easy to overpay. And finally, you've got to watch out for what he calls structural risks. These are the sneaky things buried in the fine print, like a clause that lets the company force you to convert at the worst possible time. These little details can completely work against you. So this brings us to Graham's final verdict. I mean, given all of these landmines and challenges, who are these complicated instruments actually for? Are they really for the average intelligent investor? And there you have it, straight from the master himself. And you got to understand, this isn't just a friendly tip, it is a serious flashing red lights warning. He's basically saying that unless you are a true expert, someone who can dissect these things, analyze their real value, and understand every single word in the fine print, you should probably just stay far, far away. Yeah, let's be absolutely crystal clear on Graham's takeaway here. These are not tools for the everyday investor. They're not for the defensive investor, and they're not even for the enterprising investor who's just feeling a little lucky. Nope, these are highly specialized instruments built for specialists. Full stop. And that's really the question this chapter leaves us with. It's not about whether these tools are good or bad. It's about whether we, as individual investors, are actually equipped to use them. It's just such a powerful reminder that in investing, sometimes the most important thing to know isn't the investment itself. It's knowing yourself and knowing your own limitations.